Now he starts deep in the field. This is going to be tricky because of the track being wet, drying out, a little bit of grease from the jet dryers on the track. It's a one-lane racetrack. He is going to have to pick them off one by one. It's going to be difficult to get track position. But this is a team. If anybody can do it, he can do it.
And that could open the door for the guy number 2 in points.
Jimmy Johnson. We've interviewed him a couple of times as we waited out the rain delay. And, folks, you can see and hear the confidence in his voice. These guys know they have a very good race car, and they're going to continue those good finishes they've had the last 3 or 4 weeks.
There are 44 competitors in this race, 43 drivers, and a very tough racetrack. See how it all plays out here at the Texas Motor Speedway this afternoon. 3 to go in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Let's get the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Terry Labonte as she gives the command to start the engine to her dad, Terry Labonte.
Dad, for the last time, start your engine.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
So the 43 cars roar to life on pit road. 3 races to go, and the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship is about to continue here in Texas. This is one track that Wally Dallenbach likes to call home. He knows all about the rich racing tradition here in Texas, and he knows the people of Texas love their high school football too. Most people don't know that when Wally was in high school, he took the field almost every week. After all, somebody had to cut the grass. But now it's all paid off. Wally finally got a cheerleader in his car.
Welcome, my special guest, Minka Kelly. You play Lila Garrity's a Panther cheerleader on Friday Night Lights. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Wally.
I'm not trying to make you sick. I'm just trying to put heat in the tires, honest.
Wally, you're such a clown. Well, I'm glad I didn't eat breakfast.
Yeah. You're a high school cheerleader, but you're in your early 20s. You're a little academically challenged, aren't you?
I know enough math to know that you and I have the same amount of cup wins.
That is true. Did you see Wally's wheel last year here? Because I almost wrecked.
Now I see why you have so many scratches on the side of your car.
I haven't even hit the wall yet. Give me a break.
That's pretty close.
I can't hear you. You want to be closer to the wall? Okay, I can do that. All right, now you've been shooting the show in Texas, actually in Austin. What have you learned about Texas football?
I learned that everything is bigger in Texas.
That's true. Thanks for being a part of Wally's World.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, most people bring me presents, you know, after I'm done with the ride.
You can have this pom-pom.
Oh, cool, thanks. Only on Friday nights.
Friday Night Lights, a new episode this Tuesday at 8/7 Central. Friday Night Lights right here on NBC. Did you have a good time, Wally?
Always.
And making his final start at the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series, 2-time series champion Terry Labonte starts 43rd. Drivers that didn't make it, Mark Martin and David Stremme, are both in a backup car. Both will drop to the back of the starting field. Gonna be a busy day down on pit road. A lot of stories. Sony, the official high-definition television of NASCAR on NBC, takes your NASCAR experience to another level with Sony Full HD 1080, the world's most powerful HD experience. Cloudy, temperature in the upper 60s here. Rain in the forecast for later today. Rain here this morning into early afternoon, but as you can see, the cars are on the track. And they're trying to help the jet dryers by drying that high groove up there. You can see them all in single file, trying to help dry the racetrack.
Yeah, the heat coming off these headers and stuff underneath these cars, it generates a lot of heat. So having all these cars out on the racetrack, 43 cars on the track, will definitely speed up the process of getting this thing ready.
My guess, those exhausts are up 600-700 degrees. And they need this racetrack to be dry when they throw the green flag. Because, folks, this thing is wicked fast.
How fast?
196.235 miles per hour fast.
Yeah.
The fastest qualifying lap of the year.
Average.
Average.
Now you're smoking into these corners over 200.
Oh, probably a little over 205.
And those top 4 cars?
All broke the track record.
How about that?
This thing is just wicked fast.
That makes it even more challenging. And here are the championship standings, talked about a little earlier, and you can see the starting positions on the right-hand side of the screen. Harvick and Jeff Gordon mathematically in there. You go back to Mark, Kane, actually everybody behind Burton. You know, you're still in it by the math, but the problem is you not only have to make up the points, you got a bunch of people you have to pass as well. So we'll see how it all works out today. But when the checkered flag falls here today, some of these guys are going to just about officially be out of the chase for the 2006 NASCAR Nextel Cup Championship.
I mean, Jeff Gordon and those guys, they can make up 121 points on pick anybody, on Junior or Kenseth or Jimmy Johnson. But I don't see how they can pick up that many points on all of them.
That's right. Tough to do. A lot of things we'll be watching for today, and especially how these cars handle. You want to take us inside the Home Depot virtual garage and take a look?
You know, what's going to happen as we go inside this garage, we talk about the groove being around the bottom of the racetrack. But what's going to happen is if you're in front of some guy and he wants to get by you, all he's got to do is simply drive up right behind you in the corner. He packs that air under the rear of the car, also takes that air off the rear spoiler, and when he does that, you have no choice but lose downforce on the rear. You get loose, you move up the racetrack, and the driver behind takes the position away.
And that works really well, but you have to remember one thing.
Payback.
He can do it to you. Exactly.
Working on the front stretch here. Texas Motor Speedway, mile-and-a-half track. Seats for about 159,000 people, plus 200 suites, and they park them packed full in the infield.
And we talked about last week in Atlanta how that Atlanta racetrack was an engine killer. Well, this thing is no different.
That's right.
Because there is 500 miles, and they're going to be turning over 9,000 RPMs down the straightaway and over 8,000 RPMs or right at 8,000 RPMs in the middle of the corner for an average of 85.
But in Atlanta, they were up on the top on the second or the third lap, and you won't see that here.
And now it's official, the green flag in the air here at Texas, but we do start under a green and yellow condition. The laps count. The drivers have to hold their positions on the racetrack. This basically gets us started, and we continue to work on drying the racetrack and pit road. Let's get an update from Dave Burns on Robbie Gordon's machine.
When these guys get on the grid and their cars are all lined up, the crews and the crew chiefs continue to look at them carefully. They're eyeballing the other competitors to see what they're running in the way of tape on their grills and everything. Sometimes they notice something amiss with the car, and that's what happened with Robbie Gordon's team. They saw that the left rear tire had a 3/4 inch rivet in the left rear tire. That'll make your tire go flat. They pointed it out to a NASCAR official. They allowed them to change that left rear tire without penalty, which is the case when you touch your car before you go racing here in a lot of cases. So NASCAR let him do that. They changed the left rear, and Robbie will start in his 9th place qualifying position.
And that's a good catch.
That is a good catch, and I'm sure that those guys behind Robbie Gordon are happy that he was able to change that tire. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and some of those other fellows back there.
Been an interesting week for Robbie Gordon. Fined $15,000 for the driver, $10,000 fine for his crew chief, 50 driver and owner points, and put on probation until the end of the 2006 calendar year for actions detrimental to the sport. That all coming from the roll bar padding incident last week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We offered Robbie a chance to discuss that with us, but he declined here this weekend in Texas. We're under green and yellow. The laps counting here at the Texas Motor Speedway, waiting to get that yellow flag withdrawn. Then we'll go full bore racing on NBC. 9-car.
If it starts raining, wouldn't it be a rain cloud?
That's what I would think. Carl, the defending champion of this race. His last victory came here 1 year ago. Now, since this race has officially started and 3 laps are complete, guess what? Jimmy Johnson is now the championship leader. Because Matt Kenseth starts so deep in the field right now, Johnson is the championship leader, Hamlin is second, and Kenseth is third. Pace car to pit road, yellow flag back in its stand, waiting for the green flag to wave here at Texas. Race number 8 in the chase for the championship.
Wow, check out Kurt Busch in that 2 car.
Kurt comes from 3rd to lead the first lap.
Oh, Gilliland sandwiched in there. Robbie Gordon, thankfully, backs off and gives him the...
So a competition caution here at lap 40. The first 4 laps of this race were run under the yellow to help dry the track.
And it's sort of livable. It's about twice as loose getting off, real loose getting off the corner.
Matt Kenseth back in 30th after starting 36th.
And one thing, BP, you can't live with here is a loose race car, whether it's getting into the corner especially. But if you're loose getting in, you're going to be loose everywhere else.
And going in 3 where it will affect you probably more than going in turn 1.
Alan?
Well, this is a big break for Matt Kenseth, Bill, because at the rate the leaders were going out ahead of the pack, he was in danger of getting put a lap down. If this caution did not come out, maybe in another 20 laps or so, right about the time the first set of pit stops might have come up, Matt Kenseth was in jeopardy of being lapped by the leader. So I look at this yellow as being a good break for this team, plus the fact they get to work on the race car.
Yeah, huge opportunity.
I'll tell you, another guy that was in big trouble was Mark Martin in that 6 car.
Yeah, because he was 5 or 6 positions behind Matt Kenseth.
I want to point out that Kenseth did qualify 36th and then started 34th because 2 drivers dropped to the rear of the field. And NASCAR has told the drivers they want the cars to come in slow because of the damp conditions at the entrance of pit road. Pit road speed 45 miles per hour, pace car speed 55.
I don't know that these drivers will adhere to that.
No.
Exactly right. Because if somebody slows down, they got a chance to pick up a position. They're going to try their best to get it.
Pit road's going to be a busy place. We've got 40 cars on the lead lap. Jimmy Johnson headed for AB.
In the first pit stall off the racetrack, going to be a 4-tire change, also going to be a chassis adjustment, going to do a wedge adjustment on this car. Jimmy said that the car getting a little snug at the end of that run. Kurt Busch pits from the race lead. He will be about 7-8 spots farther down pit road. A 4-tire change on Kurt Busch's car, and they'll make a track bar adjustment. Matt?
Chassis adjustment already completed for Tony Stewart. He said that the car just didn't have the feel in the back that he needed. It was also just a tick free on late exit. Dave?
Bottom of the screen, Brian Vickers just lost a couple of positions, really not unhappy with the car. No chassis changes for Brian. They'll make a 4-tire change. Marty?
Casey King said his car was pretty close, but a little too tight for his liking. Half pound on the left front tire, half around up on the track bar, trying to free that 9 car up just a bit, Bill.
Wow, Kurt Busch lost a number of positions in that ballet down there on pit road.
And had trouble with the right front. I think he had a lug nut. I saw the NASCAR official there telling him he got to go back to the right front. I think they had to go back over and tighten a lug nut.
We saw the Nextel race off of pit road. Nextel celebrating speed, teamwork, and getting things done instantly. Under caution here at Texas, little crew cam action, Mr. Parsons.
Lance Hanna from Fort Worth. Those on the right rear, hangs it for Dave Smith, makes a chassis adjustment, runs around the other side, grabs the left rear, hangs it on there for Dave. Go.
The NBC pit window.
Let's talk about the pit stop for Kurt Busch. Jay Hackney, the front tire changer. Dave Littau hangs a tire, but the NASCAR official says, wait a minute, you got a lug nut off. Now Dave comes back around, picks up a lug nut off pit road, and he says to the tire changer, come on back, tighten this thing up, which he did. It took 20.8 seconds for that pit stop.
Didn't have to do that. All he had to do was thread that thing on by hand and get out of the way and go.
Just brushes the wall ever so slightly.
This is on board with Denny Hamlin, one of our chasers.
This wall right here will jump out at you when you're getting off the corner. I mean, you get off the corner, you're on the bottom, you look up, you go, I got plenty of room. The next thing you know it's in the passenger side window. It comes at you fast.
The man who just a couple of weeks ago was leading the championship standings.
Yeah, you could hear what happened before he hit the wall on that one. I believe a right front tire blew on that car.
Yeah, I heard it go explode.
BP, you were talking to these guys in the garage. There was some concern about right fronts here.
A lot of concern with right front tires. Friday night in the Truck Series, had a couple of guys, Rick Crawford and Dennis Setzer, blew right front tires going down to turn 1. But these guys were working very hard to keep that right front as cool as possible, running hoses to the right front, running blowers to try to blow some cool air on them.
Because they're running so much camber.
Well, they're not running a lot of camber. They're running positive camber, but the car is so soft when it goes down, it sucks that right front tire in so much. And you got to really be, it's a fine line between having it sucked in too far.
Right.
Dave?
And Bill, Jeff had just radioed into his crew, how many laps till we need to stop? And when they discussed the number 20, Jeff said, we'll never make it. You got to believe he was referring to the right front tire.
This is heartbreaking for Jeff Burton. Fought all year, worked his way into the chase, won at Dover, took over the championship lead. Now, inside of 3 races to go, headed for the garage after this hit.
And then, you know what? If you're going to blow a tire on a racetrack this fast, this is the best place to blow a tire. I mean, he just glazed off the wall. If he would have blown that tire going into turn 1 or turn 3, he would have hit a ton.
They wouldn't have worried about fixing that car. They'd have just thrown it away.
Alan?
4-tire stop, track bar air pressure adjustments for Jimmy Johnson, bottom left frame, looking for a little help with the rear grip on this car. He's in the first pit stall on pit road and already gone, Matt.
Tony Stewart said the car was a little free when it started, but took about 15 laps to come in. He said, let's put him on them, boys. That's exactly what he did. A great stop by the Home Depot guys. 14.1, Marty.
Casey Kane's in the middle of your screen, Matt. A little bit slower stop, 15.1 for him. Up half around on the track bar. He said the car was just a little bit too tight, but he couldn't stand to be any tighter in the front end. So up a half around on the track bar, Bill.
Thank you, gentlemen. You heard the roar. Tony Stewart won the race off of pit road, but Junior picks up a couple of spots and gets to second. Jeff Burton may be seeing his championship hopes go up in flames here at Texas. We're under caution. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
He gets sideways right here, and he stays sideways forever. Now, this is all at 180, 170 miles per hour. That was a beautiful save.
I agree, that was. He finally gets it straightened out about halfway down the backstretch.
Dave?
And his comments were, holy cow, I was looking out the right side window.
Not a good thing, Dave.
No, unless you do that in Wally's World, though, don't you?
I did that
The
once.
passengers always look out the right side window.
I'd forgotten about how you had your hands full here on that thing a year ago. There's around Terry Labonte. On September 19th, the Texas Motor Speedway unveiled Texas Terry's new paint scheme for Terry's final race today. Some members of the Dallas Cowboys got the chance to meet Terry, and in return, he gave him a ride around the Texas Motor Speedway. Our Wrangler 5-star finish. Last finish for Terry Labonte in his NASCAR Nextel Cup career. Not having the kind of day he was hoping for. Tony Stewart just put him 2 laps down. Matt?
Bill, he's been fighting a loose condition all day. They've tried several adjustments, just hasn't been able to tighten up Terry's 44 car in his final ride. And Rick Hendrick pulled me aside when he was up at the front of the grid. As a battle for second going on between the 8 and the 48. He said, I gave Terry a die cast, joking around and said, the car is yours. And they said, no, seriously, your final car is yours. And then he kind of winked and said, I pity the fool if anybody puts even a tire mark on that race car, because that 44 is headed to Terry's own museum.
Very generous. This is Earnhardt in second. Jimmy Johnson in third. They're behind Tony Stewart. They're 5.3 seconds behind the 20 car. Has just come out here at the Texas Motor Speedway for debris on the front stretch. I cannot tell what that is.
Neither can I.
But the caution is out. NBCSports.com's Tom Curran looks at how the Colts-Patriots rivalry got so nasty. Check it out on NBCSports.com. And they'll continue some of that nastiness tonight. Tony Stewart is the race leader. Then it's Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Clint Bowyer, and Casey Kane. The Busch Series ran here yesterday. Kevin Harvick went to victory lane again.
And, you know, they said the setup on that car that he won so handily with yesterday was exactly the same as today's car.
And right now he's currently running 8th under caution. Pit road would be a very busy place. That caution Helps out Mark Martin a little bit. It saved him from going a lap down, but he still got his hands full, doesn't he?
I don't think Mark sees it as much help today.
Well, maybe Pat Trison and the boys can make it a little bit better. Elliott Sadler in the 19 car is the lucky dog. He'll come around, be the 34th car running on the lead lap. Pit road will be open this time. There you see Tony Stewart in that orange 20 car going to lead a big parade to their pit stalls. Well, I'm guessing Alan Bestwick will be first with that 48 car.
And it will be a 4-tire change for Jimmy Johnson. They're also going to make a small adjustment to the track bar on this car. You see the wrench going into the hole in the right rear of the windshield. Jimmy looking for help with front end grip in the turns. Matt?
At the top of your screen, the guy who's led 93 laps so far, Tony Stewart, says, I just need a tiny bit of help getting back into the throttle. Other than that, the car is almost perfect. Marty?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the middle of your screen says his car is a little bit loose when he's by himself. It's actually better in traffic. That's how he was able to work traffic so well. Their bigger concern is his health. More to come on that in a minute, Bill.
Thank you, Marty. Whoa. A little congestion there off of pit road. And a little bit more right there. Robbie Gordon sliding in front of a couple of guys. See Matt Kenseth coming off of pit road.
Once again, rear tire carrier. 38 car, David Gillen, Lance Hanna from here in Fort Worth, making another chassis adjustment on the rear Panhard bar. All right, left rear. Come on, David, tighten them up and let's go.
Gets to the start-finish line, but we're under caution because Dale Earnhardt Jr. has hit the wall.
Yeah, Junior was struggling with the loose car, but what happened here is the 07 of Clint Boyer came up on him so fast, he got Junior aero loose. Junior got the car sideways, and unfortunately, he didn't catch it before it hit the wall.
Pit stops, Allen.
And Jimmy Johnson is in. I'm not sure it was the ignition box that was the problem on this car. I think it might have been a problem with the window net coming down. Jimmy said he was driving one-handed, maybe holding that left side net up. Matt?
Tony Stewart said, I need a little more adjustment than we made last time. So beside the small air pressure, Shaggy Larson, the catch cam, made a small track bar adjustment to try to get this car just a little bit tighter. Marty?
Clint Boyer's in the middle of your screen, already gone. Another excellent stop for the 07 crew, 10.3 on the stop. They've gained spots all day on pit road. No changes to the chassis, Dave.
Good pit stop for Carl Edwards. Came down pit road in the 6th position. They made a track bar adjustment down on that. His car was a little bit loose. That should help.
And there you see the crew working on the Budweiser Chevy of Dale Earnhardt Jr. You guys talked about aero loose before the race even began.
Junior, like I said, Junior has been a little bit loose anyway, but when that 07, he had such a closing rate on Dale Jr., it packed air underneath, took this air off the spoiler like BP talked about in the Home Depot virtual garage, and it was the worst place on the racetrack for that to happen. It was coming off before where that wall comes out and wants to grab you every time on the exit of 4.
Watch and listen. So they work on the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Matt Kenseth in the 17 stayed out to lead a lap. 5 bonus points for Matt. Sort out the running order when we come back.
Before Sterling Marlin in the wall.
Now go low.
Kenny Schrader in the wreck.
Ryan Newman got to the inside of it. There's Mark. There's Earnhardt.
We blew it right in front. We run over something.
Sterling
I think
Marlin.
that was Schrader. Was that Fatback McSwain?
Was it?
Wow. Schrader.
I got oil pressure. I'm driving around.
It looked, yeah, the way he hit, it looks like he had a tire problem. The way that waffled. Well, we'll take a look at it. See what we can see. He was headed up there. That's Schrader.
Yep.
The 22 car got a piece of that. Dave Blaney.
Then they all start wrecking behind him.
I mean, after a restart like that, if one guy has a problem, it's hard to get away from.
Looks like Sterling might have run in the back of the 6 car. And there's a lot of damage to Sterling's car.
Looks like Mark clipped Sterling.
Yeah, and Sterling had all his damage with the outside retaining wall.
See Junior down there slamming on the brakes.
He's on board with Schrader.
Boy, that thing just takes off. So something, either had a tire go down or something, because that thing just took off, and they normally don't do that.
Ward Burton was the lucky dog under the previous caution. This time, Dale Jarrett, the lucky dog.
And that's going to hurt Sterling. You know, we're talking about being the top 35 in points.
Yep.
That's not going to help.
See how that shakes out as we play through the afternoon here at Texas. Schrader to the garage, working our 5th caution at the Texas Motor Speedway. Matt Kenseth trying to get through it.
You know, and I was watching that while you guys were watching the race. I was watching off of too. And Robbie tried squeezing a guy up on, I don't know who it was that was running up on the right side, but Robbie really kind of threaded the needle on that deal and got loose getting off of 2.
Rodney Wise will have to have some kind of salve on his arm tomorrow if we know these caution flags.
Now, see here, he gets up in, okay, it was Biffle, and he squeezed up there and just got the car loose getting off the corner. Biffle does a real nice job avoiding that wreck.
Jeff Green is the lucky dog, and I think that'll make Tony Stewart happy because Green has been relatively strong on these restarts.
I don't know if that's going to make him happy or unhappy, because it's really
He's holding up
helped
the
him.
other guys.
Yeah.
That's right. Good point.
Ooh, right in front of Kenseth again.
We got to give Matt an onboard camera.
Yeah. Watch up high there. That camera guy never even flinched.
No, those are talented people. On board with Junior.
Got one standing on back there. Get low, get low, get low. Lane's clear now, Gene.
I like the just stop theory.
As long as somebody doesn't hit you from behind, that's a great theory.
Earnhardt back in 28th. Tony Stewart, the race leader, under caution at Texas.
Look around, and what do you see? Let's fall in love. Open your eyes, and what will you find? Look around, and what do you see?
Problems.
And the caution out.
Broke a piston.
Broke a piston, he thinks.
They make a big mess.
This will be caution number 8.
We see him slowing down there, the yellow car on the inside. But
too late.
Too late.
Greg Biffle is the lucky dog. He'll come around and be the 33rd car on the lead lap.
I'm telling you, Stewart's bored. When you start bump drafting the pace car, he's looking for some fun.
Pace car driver is Brett Bodine.
Smiling.
Oh, yeah, he's having a big time.
NASCAR has asked Tony to back off a little bit, and he did. Is he trying to make Brett loose? Is that what he's trying to do?
If he was trying, it would have been done. I think he's trying to scratch the paint job.
Oh, don't do that.
Hey, some of those Tony Stewart fans would love to buy a Corvette that's been run by Tony Stewart.
Right. And they wouldn't fix the damage either, would they?
You know, this 20 crew has held service all day. He's gone in with a lead. He comes out with a lead.
Busch just got by. Caution is out.
All right, we spun out there for some reason.
Right rear tire's flat. Well, he might have done that when he...
Yeah, left front's flat. Yeah. Right rear's flat.
Was slid across the pavement.
Was running 6th. They just can't seal the deal, GT. It's Kyle Busch in the 5. Reed down low.
Wow. Both Busch brothers got lucky on that one.
Because he's going to go back across the racetrack.
Wow. Those guys' brother. BP, I think he just got under there and got loose.
He might have.
Because you already see the one tire blew when he had him locked up.
I see the right rear is flat, but it might have been caused by the flat spot that he put in there when he slammed on the brakes.
102 to go. Pit road will be open this time. Joe Nemechek in the 01 car is the lucky.
Yeah, watch this as the 5 car leaves, and the rear tire changer on the 16 of Greg Biffle, Joe Slingerland, looks at, where did you come from? And then the 11 car goes down pit road, and there's a tire bouncing in front of him.
I think Casey Mears hit Bliss's tire when he left his pit and sent it for a ride.
Tell you what,
that guy did a pretty good run over there picking that thing up. Those are heavy.
Yes, they are. About 65 pounds with the inner liner in them. Back to green with nut.
See, Robbie Gordon is very slow. I'm assuming this is what has brought the caution flag out.
So Robbie, you had high hopes after a strong qualifying run.
Uh-oh.
Blew an engine right there.
Sees his day go up in smoke. Travis Quapple will be the lucky dog. Gets one of his laps back. Robbie heads for the garage.
All right, let's see if this 20 crew can hold service yet one more time.
Boy, they have been strong, haven't they? Last week and this week. They got Tony out front. His car's running well, handling well. He's feeling good.
Tony's doing a great job driving, and their pit crew keeps making pit stops as fast as anyone else.
Crew Chief Greg Zipadelli's guys getting ready to go over the wall here for the reigning NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion. Already has 2 wins in the 2006 chase portion of the season, but not eligible for the championship this year.
Good thing for everybody else in the top 10.
Running really well. Pit road will be open this time. What'd you get for a fuel window here, BP?
About 62 to maybe 66.
Okay.
At the max.
So you can't make it from here unless you get a lot of caution laps.
Man, this is going to change things now.
That 4 seconds you were talking about?
Gone. How about the 10 seconds? Gone. Now Stewart's got guys in his mirror that have 4 tires.
And if you're at the back of the field with 17 cars on the lead lap, does somebody come back there, come get tires to try and help their position a little bit?
It depends. I don't think Matt Kenseth has run enough laps. If 5 or 6 or 7 guys come in front of him, I think he needs to stay out.
Right. See how it plays out. Be a single file restart. Greg Biffle in the 16.
Looks like simply that the air left the right front tire rapidly.
Talked about it earlier. He felt that his motor was beginning to go south. Dave, you know a little bit more?
Yeah, Greg feels like he ran over something, and that's what put the 16 into the wall. And he had been running on 7 cylinders. The motor hadn't given up. Car handling well, but not under power, and then that ended his day.
Greg Biffle finished second in the chase for the Nextel Cup last year. Had 6 wins, but it's been a disappointing season for him here in 2006. Just 1 victory and outside the cut line for the chase.
Matt Yoakum, I got a question for you.
Go ahead, BP.
The 29 car, did he change 2 or 4?
2 tires.
Okay, because he's been awfully fast here the last few laps.
Absolutely, and the 20 team is concerned about the 48 who took 4 tires. Remember back to last week, it really was a decision of Junior staying out on his older tires. The 20, they didn't really even debate their decision to come to pit road and get 4, and that was a huge difference last week. Now they're concerned maybe the roles are going to be reversed a little bit here because they took 2 tires.
So Junior has 4, Jimmy Johnson has 4. I guess those are the only 2 cars that have changed 4 tires.
Right, Matt Kenseth changed 4, but he's way back in 16th right now.
Well, I would say that Kenseth will probably come in now. Marty?
BP listening on the radio. Casey Kane just came on and said, we blew up. And then Kenny Francis came back and said, we blew up. He said, yeah, I just lost the engine. We blew up. He's coming to pit road. Unbelievable. They were going to finish in the top 5. This is the way the chase has gone for the 19. Casey Kane coming down pit road with what he thinks is an engine that has expired.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
26-year-old from Washington won here in April. Pit stops, Matt.
And Bill, the 24 of Gordon is in as well. Right side tires already gone on. They really have nothing to really debate here, going for the 4-tire change. Give it a shot, see what can happen.
And Casey Kane is done.
The hood is up on pit road. The word from down there, finished. Marty?
They looked inside the engine to see if it was a spark plug, and indeed it was something internal. These guys are done. This is an unbelievable turn of events, Bill.
38th at Atlanta, 7th at Martinsville, had the win at Charlotte. Strong run at Talladega. Last week took himself out when he made a bad move on the track, ran into David Stremme. But tonight, Benny, exactly what you talked about before the race began, the engine builder's nightmare.
Oh, it is. Just a few laps to go. If they only had not practiced another 8 or 9 laps.
So Casey Kane, one of the bright young stars of the sport, pushed back to the garage, so close to victory. And the sour taste of defeat for Kane after 6 wins this season. And you know what else that does? That moves Jimmy Johnson and those 4 fresh tires 1 spot closer to Tony Stewart. They get the 1 to go signal, Alan.
The caution was both a break and a problem for Jimmy Johnson. It was a break because it allowed him to close the gap on Tony Stewart that he was behind under the green flag because of taking the extra time on pit road. The problem is they ran off a few laps here under the yellow flag, reducing the number of laps he has to try and do something with this 20 car and the 2 between himself and the race leader. Matt?
A little difference in reversal of tires from last week, Zip. You just laid out the game plan for your man. Can your wheel man hold him off?
I think so. I mean, we've had a good car. I'm glad we've got a couple of cars in between us. God, I can't even talk right now. 4 to go here in Texas. This place used to be a real thorn in our side. Last couple of years, we've got a good handle on it, and this would mean an awful lot for us to win here.
And Greg Zipadelli laid out the situation for Tony, told him who had the 4 tires, who didn't. He says, but you can hold them off. And Stewart's reply simply was, that's easy for you to say.
Tony Stewart has 6 top 10s in his 9 races here at Texas. Outside the chase for the Nextel Cup, but has already won 2 of the 7 chase races, trying to make it number 3 tonight. Scott Riggs is right behind him, driving for Ray Evernham, looking for his first win. Then you've got a couple of chasers in Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson.
Well, and this, it seems like we're getting down to this time of the race all the time on these last minute or late restarts. This is where Tony Stewart needs to just have as good a restart as he's been having all night. He's got to get a good start to get away from that 48 car and hope that Jimmy Johnson gets hung up behind Harvick and Riggs.
Inside of 10 to go, it's a single file restart. No lap cars in the way. 4 to go as they take the green. Stewart leads at Texas.
Wow, and Harvick left the door open on the right side, so Jimmy Johnson's going to get one of those spots in a hurry.
Johnson in the 48 around Harvick in the 29, chasing race leader Tony Stewart.
That's not what Stewart wanted to see. Trust me, he's looking in the mirror for that 48 car. He wants to know where he's at.
Riggs runs second, but here comes Johnson on those 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, if he gets by Riggs here this lap without too much trouble, Tony's going to be a sitting duck.
But he's having a little trouble.
Yep.
He might get positioned down the back straightaway.
Bobble a little bit there with Riggs.
And that holds up Johnson. Couldn't find the avenue to get by. Kevin Harvick's going to go low. Riggs can't block them both. Johnson gets the position.
Oh, he's getting them loose.
Oh.
He's getting them loose. And
Riggs is run hard into the wall. Caution is out.
Oh, Kenseth goes around.
Kenseth, another championship chaser. Jeff Gordon is through the grass. Scott Riggs running second. Now a hard hit sits in the middle of the tri-oval here at Texas.
But the race isn't over. Under NASCAR rules, we will have a green, white checker to have 2 more laps.
And that's not good news for Tony Stewart, but it's good news for Jimmy Johnson.
There's Riggs.
And it looked like on that deal, Harvick got right up on the 10 car. It just took that air off that spoiler.
Go back and take a look at what happened under caution here at Texas.
The 10 bobbled just a little bit. The 29 was coming. I don't think the 29 ever hit him, but he got close enough to him where he took the air off the spoiler, and that's all it took. Oh, Truex just gets tapped, but hangs on to it.
And Junior just misses it. There you see Kens at the round, gets tapped again. Gordon through the grass. Number of cars using pit road as an avenue to avoid the trouble on the front stretch. There's Harvick right behind Riggs.
That was an extremely hard blow. There's a rear spring bouncing across the racetrack.
It'll take a while to clean this up.
Kenseth is just probably going, not again.
Boy.
He's have to start in the back.
Back to mud pie right now.
Yeah.
Kenseth has worked his way up to the 9th position.
Yeah. Oh, he's been there and back and there and back. I mean, it's just been a long day for those guys.
Listen. You can see the safer barrier there. The softer wall, as they call it in NASCAR. An energy-absorbing barrier. Still a hard hit for Riggs. Boy, Carl Edwards went around. On board, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
As soon as you see the smoke, you know. Trouble. Oh, there wasn't even smoke on that one.
Ooh. Wow.
You're clear, buddy.
Tell you what, coming back on the racetrack, he bottomed out big time.
Denny Hamlin's on board.
Wow, good job, Denny.
Did he get a piece of it or not?
I don't think he did. He's going to have to come in and change those tires because he flat spotted them, but
you know, Earnhardt was in one wreck, but he has missed at least 3 tonight. Moments ago, before this, the night ended for Casey Kane. Marty Snyder is with him.
And that, too, was a bit of a surprise. Any indication at all that you were having an engine problem?
No, I mean, just happened, you know, just a bad deal, but we were fast. Kenny did a good job, guys did a good job, and there was only, I think, really one battle all night for the lead, and that was me and Tony. I had a blast. He was, I thought we were flying, and he was still better than I was, so it was a good time. We had a great race, and the good thing is we have 2 races left. We can still have a shot at winning, and we can look forward to next year. We're going to have a lot of good race cars next year, too.
You had finally gotten into position. Did you think you could maybe pass him?
Right not. I mean, he was too good. I think if we could have had a caution with 20 to go and got 4 tires and worked on it a little bit, I think we had a shot, you know, at least battle him again, see what we had. But he was too good on 2 tires. I don't think we could have even hung with him.
Bill, a lot of late drama. Enough for you?
Yeah, loving it. Loving it. And you know what it's doing, Marty? It's tightening up the chase for the Nextel Cup. 2 races to go after tonight. Phoenix, Arizona next Sunday, then the season finale in Homestead, Florida in 2 weeks. And here are the points as they run right now. Matt Kenseth has closed to within 6 of Jimmy Johnson. Kenseth came in as the championship leader, but started 36th and gave up the lead basically when the green flag came out. Football Night in America coming up next here on NBC, setting the stage for Sunday Night Football, the Indianapolis Colts and the New England Patriots. Peyton Manning against Tom Brady. If the race reaches its scheduled conclusion, under the caution, NASCAR will make one attempt at a 2-lap green flag, white flag, checkered flag finish. So after they clean the track, they will line these cars up, put out the green flag, and race for 2 laps. If the caution comes out after the green, the race will be over. There are 8 scoring loops around the track. NASCAR will use the scoring loops and videotape replays to determine the final finishing order. Update on Dale Earnhardt Jr. from Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, as we watched him go through that wreck in the in-car camera, he got a little bit of left front damage from hitting his teammate Martin Truex Jr. right behind the wheel that you see right there where that's flared out. They were worried the left front might be flat. They've looked at it several times. You see Jr. weaving it back and forth to make sure that the left front is not flat. They've determined it's not flat enough to bring him on the pit road. They would lose a lot of track position that way. So they're going to leave him out, hoping that the left front will stay up. Alan?
Matt Kenseth will likely be coming down pit road here to take 4 tires. He was showing an 8th position on the racetrack, but NASCAR is readjusting some of those running positions based on where they were scored at the time the caution came out. Robbie Reiser just made the call for Matt to stay out on the racetrack. Given the number of cars that are on the lead lap, 15, that's the debate. How far back do we fall? How much of it can we get back with fresher tires? They've decided to stay out instead of pit and run out these last 2 laps. So they could steal a top 10 out of this thing again, despite where they've been running all day. We'll see.
One thing about going back to Junior's car, I think that's going to affect the handle of that car quite a bit, because that's a big aero deal right there.
And I don't believe it came from Truex's car. I think that came when he hit the racetrack, but he came back down. He bottomed out.
Right.
That's where that came from. Because we heard on his onboard camera some heavy contact with the racetrack.
Denny Hamlin, another driver in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship, has been on and off of pit road. Hamlin currently 4th in the running order.
Well, I'm telling you, he had to change tires because he locked him up on that wreck.
Hamlin's 4th in the championship, 14th in the running order. Lights are out on the pace car. That means the pace car will head for pit road. We'll put the green flag in the air. 1 attempt at 2 laps to decide today's race here at the Texas Motor Speedway.
This is going to be a good shootout right here.
2 of the last 4 races here have been decided by less than half a second. 12th race here at the Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. In the first 11 different winners.
You got to remember too on this deal that really Stewart doesn't have anything to lose. He's not points racing here. Jimmy Johnson has to be a little bit more careful than Tony Stewart has to be.
Jimmy Johnson took 4 tires under his most recent pit stop. Tony Stewart took 2. Green flags in the air. 2 laps to decide it at Texas. Johnson hangs with Stewart on the start, looks at the high side, then ducks in behind him. Flash bulbs everywhere. Stewart low, Johnson high. Harvick in 3rd. And Kyle Busch and Clint Bowyer, Earnhardt Jr. 6th. Tony Stewart has been strong all day, has led 277 of the 338 laps. White flag, last lap.
Pretty even that lap. I think he's going to be able to get him.
Doesn't look that way.
Down the backstretch for the final time. Tony Stewart won last week at Atlanta with a dominating run, strong pit stops, a good crew. Outside the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship, cannot defend his title, but he can be strong down the stretch. Tony Stewart wins at Texas. What a run for Tony Stewart.
Jason Shapiro, the car chief on that 20. And Jerry Cook.
The field was set for the Nextel Cup chase for the championship after the race in Richmond, Virginia in September. When Tony Stewart was locked out following that race, he said, "We have one goal, to win them all." He has won 3 of the first 8, 2 to go. Phoenix and Homestead. Led 278 of the 339 laps. Unofficially, it's Johnson, Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Clint Bowyer.
Wonder what car he'll bring to Homestead, BP.
I would guess the same car.
Those fans are going to the fence because Tony Stewart's trademark is to climb the fence after a win. Unofficially, here are the championship standings with 2 races to go in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Jimmy Johnson just 17 points in front of the 17 team of Matt Kenseth. Earnhardt Jr., Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, the top 5. The maximum point gain possible in one race, 156. So next week at Phoenix, any one of those top 5 drivers could leave as the championship leader.
I told him he better give him a mattress.
You better get what?
A mattress to put on the racetrack underneath. One of these days he's going to slip.
Stewart taking off his safety equipment, parks his car at the start-finish line, then he will climb the fence. Unofficial results for tonight's race. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick, good comeback from Kyle Busch, strong run by Clint Bowyer, Earnhardt Jr. with an amazing run. Tony Stewart climbs the fence to the flag stand and will celebrate with the fans. For those of you who want to continue watching NASCAR racing from Texas, please tune to CNBC for our post-race report. And coming up next on NBC, it's Football Night in America with Bob, Chris, Sterling, and the bus for all of today's NFL action leading up to Sunday Night Football. Our race coverage continues on CNBC. Football Night in America is next.